What's up, guys? This is Skyllus. I'm a professional gamer who has also been giving feedback during the development of the Onza for Razer. We're going to be doing a review of the TE and SE sticks here. And if you'd like a written review, we're going to have it down in the description by Arctic on our website, Reflexin. I just wanted to give you guys a quick comparison of the Standard Edition and Tournament Edition Razer Onzas. And this here is the Standard Edition. It has the mappable buttons at the top, the Hyperesponse buttons on the AXBY, and improved D-pad. It has a texturized finish similar to the same as you'd have with a regular Microsoft controller. And here's the TE. It has all those things, but it has the adjustable tension on the sticks. It has a rubberized finish. Kind of hard to explain, but it's similar to the stuff you find on Razer's PC peripherals. And there's also a braided cable, which is supposed to be stronger and more durable than the regular cables. And both controllers are PC compatible as well. You probably noticed by now that it's a wire controller, and it features a 15-foot cable, and that's 5 feet longer than the default controller, as you can see. It also is a lot of cords, so if someone trips over it, there is a quick disconnect cable to keep you from taking your Xbox with it. Alright. One flaw with the Razer Onza is that it uses the 2.5mm jack, which works fine for newer model headsets, which just plug in like that. But if you have a chat pad or one of the older headsets that have the little prongs on the side there, there's nowhere for them to go and you can't get them in. So I know some headsets are like that. Some companies' headphones are like that. So you want to check that before you buy your Onza and know that it's not going to fit in there. As you can see, there's no space for it. Probably the most useful feature on the Onza controller is the mappable buttons. But before talking about those, I want to talk about the triggers for a second. The triggers are pretty much identical to the Microsoft triggers, and the only difference is they stick out further from the controller, which creates a further draw distance in order to shoot in shooter games. It seemed like it was more built with racing games in mind, in the sense that you can fine-tune exactly how hard you're pulling down the trigger, but for shooters it doesn't quite work as well as the regular controller. Alright, here I'm showing the back of the Onza controller where you can remap the function buttons on the top. As you can see, all you do is you just hold down the button, and then you push wherever you want to reassign that function button to. So here I've set it to fire, and as you can see, when I hit that right function button, it fires, which is nice to counteract the fact that controllers have a long draw distance. As you can see, the LED says that I have it set to X, so my left function button does X, which is my sprint and halo reach. What was your number one complaint about the Microsoft controller? I bet most of you said the crappy D-pad. And Razer has heard the cries, I guess, and they changed it. They made it so that each direction is an individual button, where it's a lot better, especially for games that utilize it for controls. I'm not sold on it for fighting games just yet to replace say like a fight pad or something, but it's significantly improved. It's more online with where the PS3 is for D-pads. Another thing they changed about the Onza versus the default controller is they made the buttons with their Hyperesponse technology. And what that means to you is that it makes a clicky sound when you push it, and it's real fast to push. They're also more profile against the controller, so the first thing you'll notice is that they aren't elevated very high at all. So the difference is they use mechanical switches instead of membrane switches, which is what the default controller uses. They're higher quality and they work faster. Let's take a look. Here we are inside the Razer Onza. I took it apart so you guys see what's going on under the hood. So these are the mechanical switches I was talking about. Just click them and it makes a little mouse click noise. They're higher quality than the membrane switch, which is what Microsoft controllers use. As you can see, the dome pops and then the metal part makes connection with the circuit board to say that you push the button, which is why a lot of time your buttons wear out over time and you don't get button registration. So this is a higher quality part and lasts longer. The other thing I want to point out was the bumpers. They use a higher quality switch at the top versus the Microsoft one, which I imagine is a decade old or older. So it's just this button right here. And the other thing I want to point out was the D-pad. As you can see, the Razer Onza does use a membrane switch for the D-pad, just like the Microsoft controller, but it's a higher quality part. So here's the default controller you guys are all well familiar with. I want you to look at the height of the stick here, because I'm going to show you the SE. And you can see that the stick is way higher than the regular one. It's somewhere between playing with a Control Freak attachment on the regular controller and the default. And personally, I don't like the SE stick. I think it's too high. And I wish that they had gone something more similar to the TE, which is somewhere between the two. It has the rubberized top, which is probably my favorite feature on the whole controller. It feels so nice when you're playing for long sessions. And of course, it has the adjustable tension, which will let you. It doesn't change sensitivity. It just changes how hard it is to push to each side of the controller. In conclusion, I highly recommend a purchase. It's the same price as a standard Microsoft controller, and it is only $10 more for a TE. So the next time you go to buy a controller, I recommend getting it. If you're a competitive gamer, you should go ahead and order it immediately. Get it in your hands as soon as possible. The one thing that I really like with the controller is the function buttons. And since it applies just about any game. In Call of Duty, you could be doing drop shots. Halo, you can have all your stuff up top. It just makes so you don't have to push the AXBY in most shooters. As far as what can be improved, I'd like to see them change the trigger design to something that's more either shooter friendly or more universal. Right now, it's kind of catered towards the racing crowd entirely, so I'd like to see that changed. The stick on the SE leaves a little bit to be desired. It's real high, and the top is a little bit large for most thumbs, even my large hands. The third thing is I'd like to see a wireless version, which I think I speak for just about everybody there, but I understand Microsoft does have some say over that, so hopefully Razer can work something out. I just think that over time they can improve it, much like they do their mice, where they've got dozens of different mice, all slightly different. So I'd like to see that happen. If you like the review, we do hardware reviews and post gameplay, stuff like that all the time, so go ahead and click subscribe above. And if you'd like to leave a comment, we'll be answering questions down below. Thanks.